Danielle, I have some mystery music playing. Hang on. Oh, and I think you're
Am I muted?
hold.
Okay.
That's what happens when you have too many windows open.
Am I okay? Do you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
All of a sudden, I hear the music coming at me from 12 different tabs. My goodness. I was going to play the other opening, and I'm all, let's just get down to it. So I want to wish you a very happy Valentine's Day, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a couple of bits of business. I'm going to show this right here. I was looking through comments. First of all, one of our dear viewers, Leslie, we see that your father has passed away. And so big condolences from all of us over to the pond to you, my dear friend. I know that we're celebrating a day of love, and I'm sure it's hard to lose a beloved dad. So lots of love to you there from both of us.
Yeah, sending you hugs.
Yeah. So that's a sad thing, but the good thing is that you're here amongst friends, which is great. And in the spirit of being amongst friends, I don't know what your Valentine's Days used to look like when you were a kid, Danielle, but I went to a small school, and Valentine's Day was like my favorite day because I loved to make things to give to my friends. So it was a big deal. I'd make someone for everything, something for everyone in my class. And I don't know, one day I'll tell the story about how I made pretend suitcases and we all pretended we were going on an airplane. But luckily I had very indulgent teachers. But to really land this plane, to make this long story short, I thought today it would be really fun to share a Valentine's gift with all of you. So you can see down here in the notes, and this is viewer exclusive. This is just for our buddies here who are watching us live and who are watching us later today. If you watch it on replay, it's good for Valentine's Day only. If you make an order of any size and you put earrings in the notes, I'm going to add a crystal earring kit to your order. And I went and I delved in my crystals. And if you've already made an order, my friends, don't worry. Okay. I see a couple of people missed it. Just shoot me an email. And I will, I'll put it in the notes. So even if you made one earlier today, don't worry about that. Okay. So I'll get all of you a Valentine's gift from my studio to yours. And I know, it's like Frelentines, Fredolentines, Galantines, Mandolintines. I don't know, all of it for all of us. So a happy day of love. I wanted to share with you what they actually are. If you can see that. I dove into my stash of Swarovski crystal, and I have a lot of Swarovski crystal stashed away. And these are colors and shapes that haven't been shown for a while. So I think you'll like them. I hope you will. So that's that. That's what's going on there. The other thing, Danielle, is today, just for your show, I put Delicas on sale. Woo-hoo. At Bead Shop. It's on the homepage. It was in your newsletter. And since we heart Delicas here at Bead Shop, let me take this down. I've got too many banners. There we go. It's a 15% markdown. So just kind of like the Super Duo markdown that we did earlier this week. Delicas are all marked 15%, and it's all sizes, 8s, 10s, and 11s. If you stack that with our Love 10 coupon that's going on right now, you'll save up to 25% on all of those Delicas. So today is the day to shop. And I know, Danielle, you love Delicas as much. I think you are solely responsible for making me love Delicas as much as I do.
Aw, I do love them. You're a great bead.
My re-love affair with the Delica bead for sure. So I wanted to share this. This is the earring giveaway. So put earrings in your order notes and I'll put together this little kit for you. I also wanted to say before we get Danielle going on this Free Tip Friday, we have a fantastic handout that she created for us. It's on the project page. I'll pull that up, Danielle, later on when you're done so everybody can see that. There's a link to it also in the newsletter this morning. And also, speaking of newsletters, check your newsletters on Saturday and Sunday because I have more Weekend of Love gifts for you. But you're going to have to tune into the newsletter both Saturday and Sunday. I've got something fun cooked up for the newsletter. So it'll be a newsletter subscriber only dealio there. And if you're not on our newsletter, go to beadshop.com right after this broadcast, and you can sign up for our newsletter. Let me make sure that it's up. I'm going to cover your pretty face for just a second, my friend, and say you can find us on all the socials. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification button over on YouTube, and hit us up at info@beadshop.com and at beadshop.com all over online. All right, Danielle, I think I have finally gotten everything taken care of
It's a
that I had to
beautiful
announce.
I love that earring. It's gorgeous.
It's super fun.
My favorite pair to put on. It's really nice.
Yeah, they're really, I just love this Swarovski. It's the Swarovski flat, flat square shape, and the round. I just love these so much. So let me add your project to this stage. Let me take these earrings out for the moment. I am going to highlight this one, and we're super excited to have you here with this. So let me highlight this. There's that. All right, my friend, it's all you.
Yeah, and so this was inspired by you mentioned Valentine's Day. You like to make gifts. Something I used to love to do is I would make little cross stitch things. Usually they were just little miniatures with a frame. A lot of times they came from the craft stores or something. But I realized you could get graph paper and make your own pattern. And that kind of led to my love of looming, which led to my love of peyote stitch. And so being that it's Valentine's Day and we had beautiful Delicas, you had added these beautiful mixes. And I was so inspired by Marsala.
Yes, love.
So pretty. So I felt like I needed to do something like that. And some red KO and this beautiful button.
That's a new one. We just listed it. I do love it.
It's gorgeous. It is so pretty. And it really makes the design. And so because of this button, I actually designed the colors to go with the button somewhat because I wanted it to pull out the blue. And in the center there, you can see there's like reddish purpley. So it really does join all those colors together.
Right.
You've got the copper and the shiny copper that really pops in the center. And yeah.
Really pretty.
Like whatever color you put next to it, you see that color. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, for sure. And all of those check glass, Janice also got some more check glass buttons that we're going to be launching shortly. And we were kind of inventorying them and looking at them yesterday. And I'll tell you what, you think that one is pretty. There's some more that are coming that are also lovely. I just love the glass buttons.
I can't wait. I'll check it out.
Love. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out, Lori, I think I saw. Yes, I saw. Okay. And I saw your comment. We put the comment in your order. So you will get your earrings. Don't you worry.
Oh, and I see Leslie is saying, yeah, your ice necklaces were so pretty, Leslie. I love them.
That was such an inspired design, Danielle. So fun.
It was really fun. I love all the stuff that you guys carry. It's inspiring. It makes the designing so easy. because you pick the
Oh,
beads, and so it's just like it just happens for you when you put them on the mat. It's really
no,
fun.
yeah. Oh, well, thank you.
What's your
Now,
word?
earrings.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I put it on there already.
Oh.
So Danielle, will you go over which you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 colors there,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, well, there's
And
actually also white, but I didn't have
Right.
I don't have
Okay.
a pretty tube of the white, so I'm just gonna pour some out.
Sure. And Fran is asking, Fran, it's all in the project. That's the copper rose is next to the blue, and then that other one is the aqua, matte aqua.
Yeah, and this one is bayberry.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not sharply contrasting from each other, so they create depth in the color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pretty. I'll double check the project to make sure that they're all on there. Because I took them from the list, but I'll double check. So while you're getting started, I'll go ahead and do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'm going to show really quick, just a quick little snippet of this is the last page of the handout.
Mm-hmm.
And so step one of it is you just want to lay your colors out in this order. And so I've got that here. I'll dump these out in a second. As far as measurement goes, this is one of those fun patterns that repeats. You start with an intro, and it's a nice, easy 2-drop peyote. And the pattern starts with just all color A, so you don't have to worry about the pattern flipping on you when you start your first couple rows.
Mm.
Thing I always try to design in because it drives me crazy when they flip. You know what I mean? Like they turn. And so when you repeat rows 9 through 28 for the entire length of that bracelet, it gives you basically 11/16 in length. And so I just rounded that up to 0.7. So what I have here is 7 repeats, and then here's 8 repeats. So you can see the difference in length that it gives you.
And just real quick, Danielle, it looked like I didn't get the Duracoat Bayberry is there. Can you flash the color for me one more time? I'm going to make sure. Thank you. Whoever noticed that it was, a typo. I'm going to double check it, Fran. So let me just make sure that's correct. And if anyone made orders or whatever, we can switch that all up. So don't worry. So it's the 2407. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
sorry,
you,
Kate.
madam.
I might have missed that somewhere.
That's okay. I'm going to add it in. It's no problemo. I've got it covered. So you've got the colors there. Will you tell me, Danielle, just on the tubes, just so we all know the tube colors you've got in front of you?
Yep, this one is Mix 80.
Right, that's the Marsala.
Yep, and then of course this one, the color white is just, that one's just DB 200. So 200 Miyuki.
Awesome.
And then Bayberry is 2132.
I love that Bayberry. Such a great color.
It's really one of my favorites. It's the perfect color for like a almost nighttime sky, like a dusk color.
Yeah, so good.
This one is brand new. This one doesn't come up in my pattern editor. It's so new.
Wow.
Shiny copper. I had to manually enter this one.
2518. Yes.
Yeah. Super brand new.
Love. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to double check it. And Lori says she might have added the wrong color. I'll check your order, Lori, and we can make the change. So don't worry. All right, Danielle, thanks so much. Take it away again, my friend, and I'll make sure that the project is correct.
Okay, yeah, and let me know if because I didn't print my first page. If it's the first page has the numbers, but let me know if I.
Yeah, no, I'll just check it. You're good to go.
But so roughly, if you do 7 repeats, you're going to get about 5 1/4 inches, and then 8 repeats is going to give you almost like one little tick mark away from, or 2 to 6 inches. And then when you do your button and your closure, you're going to get another inch on that. So that's how you can kind of figure out how many repeats. But really, the truth of what I do is while I'm making it, I just go like that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, same.
And then I figure out all the measuring stuff after when I'm completely finished, and then write it down. Yeah.
That's great.
So I'm just going to lay out all these colors, and then let's start a new one. And then of course I've got this jump ahead ready to show finishing on it.
Gotcha.
Because this is one of those things that's going to take a little while to get done. It's one of the peyote stitch, it takes not forever, but a little longer than you guys would want to watch me stitching.
And I've updated, Danielle, the project. There was actually a typo in the project. It might have been on our end. I'm not sure. But the mat, what we have it is the 2407 is now listed. So we are all correct. Again, apologies on that, everybody, but that is good to go.
Okay, yeah. And let me know if you need the PDF edited. I think I can't remember now because I didn't print that first page. So just
I'll check it. I'm sure you are correct. I'm probably wrong on the back end.
I don't trust my editing skills anymore.
Same for me.
I try, but I feel like the harder I try, the more mistakes I make.
Oh, it's just because we're going so fast, right? Yeah. All right. Well, let's see how we've got that going.
And so for the length of thread, I probably have cut about 65 inches or so. You want to just cut a length that's comfortable for you. So whatever, I go with the wingspan, you're going to end up adding thread. And you'll see on this one, when I add thread, I ran out about every 2 repeats, basically. And so what I like to do is leave my old working thread in place and weave in a new strand to meet it. And so I have this one ready just to show what weaving around looks like. This is one of my old working threads. But so to start, you just want to give yourself about 65 inches. And any more than that, you start to get knots, and knots are no fun. And I thought I put a needle on that, but maybe I did not. Oh, I put it on the wrong side. Sorry about that. I was putting a needle on my sample, my finished sample.
Oh, well.
So there we go. Okay, so super, super easy. You just want to start with 12 of the color A. So all of the DB200. So there's 6 and then leave a tail that's long enough to do your button attachment. So 10, 12 inches or so. You're going to need enough thread to do this with at the start.
Yeah, and you can see that button. It has a fairly small, sometimes the button shanks are a little wire and sometimes they're like a little glass kind of square or whatever. So those are a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a nice number to go through. And Danielle, someone was asking, I was looking in the comments. Kathleen was asking, do we need more than 1 tube of each color? And you don't. You just need that single tube. Those quantities are on the project, but just 1 tube of each, correct?
Yeah, no, it actually, you will get, so I've made 2 bracelets that are
nice.
And I still have all of this left. Well, this is a full one. I thought I was going to run out, but I've got, including what's dumped out here, still have all that left. These go a long way.
Yeah.
This one barely even scratched the surface. It's like,
maybe. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. So we've got plenty of beads for that. Perfect.
I think you'll get 3 bracelets if I had to just make a guess.
Sure. Great.
Yeah, it goes really far. And so 10 to 12 inches for your tail. And then you'll want to start by, this is 2 drops. So you'll want to pick up 2 beads. And then looking back here at the 12 that we just strung, you want to skip the last 2 that we strung there and go through the next 2 that are after it. And this makes it a lot faster for finishing. And then I learned this from you, Kate, to pull the working and tail thread apart.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
To kind of push it, convince it to do what you want it to do.
Yeah, it's the way to get the stitches to work nice and tight. And so I'm going to pick up 2 more and skip 2 and go through the next 2. And there we go. So we're just going to do that all the way to the end. So 2 and 2. And then I think there's just one more here that we got to do. So skipping 2 and then going through 2, you'll do that a total of 3 times. And so you'll have something that looks like that. And then super easy, you're just going to create row 4, which is just more of the same color, color A. And so
And I'm sorry, just being the 2 drop, it goes so quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And so I've gone back through those 2, but one thing I like to do is, you notice how it kind of loosened up on me a little bit? Is before I connect that, I'll just go ahead and do one more tightening right there. And then even just maybe pinch everything and then pull that through. So you're going through the up beads, and the up beads are going to be those 2 beads. So you'll pick up 2, go through, skip 2, go through 2 for the entire bracelet. So super, super easy. And it's just repeating the same thing over and over again, but with the colors.
I love how much you utilize 2 drop, Danielle. I need to also remember to do that because it makes your project so much faster. I'm like, how does that woman bead so fast?
Tricks.
Right?
Yeah. Because if this was single drop, it would probably take, I don't know if it would double it in time. It would definitely add a lot.
Yeah. And I feel like the 2 drop is easier to see.
Yeah, it is. It is.
To be honest.
And something I actually still really enjoy doing, even though I love a good pattern, is I love to just make stripes. Like I would take this and then just change colors, 4 rows, and then 4 rows later, change colors for another 4 rows. That by itself looks amazing. And it's super cute.
No, agreed.
It's super stunning. And so, but I like this because you're only really adding 3 beads per row, but you get a nice wide band. So it has a little more presence on your wrist. It looks like a ribbon. It's about a ribbon's width.
Yeah, very nice.
Not really 3/4, but a little bit closer to that. A little bit over half.
And the design that you created, it has such a vintage, like, I don't know, such a nice vintage feel. I just love it. And you could do the flowers. You could sub that marsala for like purple or anything. We've got like those Mum's the Word mix that is kind of chrysanthemum colored. So you could mix, change those stripes up into anything else that you wanted, I think would look great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was thinking it looked a little bit like you said, a vintage vibe. It's like one of those ribbons.
Yeah, a vintage ribbon. I love it, especially with the needlepoint vibe on it. Love.
It had all the cool elements that I was kind of feeling when I was sitting down to work on it.
Yeah, it's great. And these are all 11/0. Carolyn was asking, these are all the 11/0 Delicas. I guess you could jump up if you were wanting to do them with 10. Your sizing would be off, right? Because it would be size 10.
But you'd get done faster because it would probably add a lot more than the 0.7. I could maybe stitch up a little sample to figure out, but yeah, it would speed up your work. You wouldn't have to do as many repeats of the pattern.
Yeah, and you could just play around with it. But and I'll show you when we're done with this, I'll pop over to the project and you folks can see. But if you go to the project on beadshop.com, you can download Danielle's handout, and everything is current, is fine with the handout, Danielle. So we're all good. But you can download the handout and follow along as you're doing your stitching.
Yeah, exactly. And it's super easy to just, start to kind of memorize it, to be honest, because it repeats itself so many times that you'll eventually you'll glance at the pattern maybe once or twice, but you won't really need it that much because it's intuitive to look at, seeing where the beads will go after you've done 2 or 3.
Right. Pretty easy to get. Yeah. Love.
To change colors too. It would be maybe give it a sharper contrast between colors C and E. They look a little close in the design, which I thought kind of gives it an ombre depth. But if those were like a bright yellow, you can picture oh my gosh, that'd be cool.
Right. It would be great.
Or a carnation pink.
Yeah, very pretty. And I love how, you did that in your mosaic wrap when you did that mix for us. You did a mix with the Delicas that were kind of next to each other on the color order, and it really creates a lot of depth in the pattern. Kind of like that Marsala mix. The Marsala mix is kind of the same way.
I love this mix. Yeah, and that's something that I just really love is even though they're a little bit close together, it just
Mhm.
makes them, it gives them a texture
Yeah.
instead of just using a solid color, which really adds to over an entire bracelet like that, the subtle changes. You really notice it. It makes it fun to look at when you're wearing it. It's like almost like a fidget. And
Yeah.
kind of how it sparkles. There's even little silk beads in there they hide.
I know, I saw that they put silk in there, and they discontinued some of the silk colors
Oh,
a while back. It was a while back, I think, just a few of them, but the silk, I think that is the most underrated bead finish of them all. I love the silk so much.
it's so pretty. I really love it.
So pretty. So you just continue on in pattern, right? You're going to do a little bit of the pattern for us?
Yeah, yeah. So I've already finished row 4. So now I'm just going to go to row 5, and you'll want to pick them up in order too. So I'm going to pick up 1B and 1A. Then I'll come back and pick up 1E, 1B, come back and pick up 2D. And so it's basically 3 adds per row. You'll just want to watch what color.
Hmm.
And I'm just going to mark my spot. I'm using a little ruler here. You can use a Post-it note, anything like that. And then just randomly select from Marsala. Don't even worry about what color. Just pick up any from that mix every time it asks you for a color B in the pattern.
Mhm.
So here's B and A as our first 2. And I'm just going to go through those 2 up beads there. And yeah, this is a project you can get done in like a night, just working maybe even just off and on it, not even a solid like couple of hours. It does go really fast. So here's E and B. So the next 2 in that row, row 5. And
And I also like how you're using red KO as like a contrast. It's part of the design.
yeah, yeah. And so, and on the sides of the bracelet, so I started it with white just for, so it's easy to start. But like if you didn't like that, you could pull those rows out after you got started.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the sides, it's
Right.
all.
It really blends in. Yeah, it's perfect.
So I always just kind of match the color of my thread to whatever's on the side, unless I really want to see it. Sometimes I
That's
do.
super, super smart.
And it actually looks really cool next to the white still.
Yeah, I agree.
And then here's 2 shiny copper. So what's one thing that's happening a couple of times is my thread, see this loop as I'm going through it, likes to curve around and grab that side. So just like maybe just holding from the bottom makes it easier. And that is the end of row 5. In row 6, I'm just going to pick up 1B. And then you'll see it says 1B and then it says 2D. Let me show you. So row 6, 1B, 2D. So I'm going to pick up 1B and 1D. Then I'll come
Right.
back and pick up the other D and the other A.
Gotcha.
And I kind of expanded this out, but because it offers 2 choices. You can have it like this, or you can have it where it'll say A 12 times.
Right. Right.
If somebody wants that, I can easily produce that for you. It's just, it'll make it really like a lot of text. It wasn't beautifully fitting next to my pattern. So.
Right. And I think the visual pattern that's next to it is almost easier to follow.
Yeah, I like doing that too. Like I'll take a Post-it. And so like we just finished that and we're headed this way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the LR means, is the direction you're heading.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and the bead tool that I use does that like automatically for me. So I don't even have to think about it. You just, whatever side your tail's on, which for us, it's this side. You can even mark your tail on there if you want.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've gone at a D, we've gone through here. Now we're going to be adding a B and a D. And we're going to go through the 2 Ds and then add a B and an A and go through EA and go through. So you can just like mark it as you go.
Right. Going across. I'm a visual that chart is visual. A visual chart is what I'm trying to say, really works well for me. I know that we all learn different ways.
Yeah, I like both. I actually was I was into the visual charts pretty much exclusively because I was doing, the kind of where you color in with the pencils and stuff.
Right, right.
But then got into the word charts later, and now I think once you get hooked on the word chart, it makes it hard to go back. But
Yeah.
then I think the other way is funner. I don't know. And then it's easier to do your own pattern. Like I used to love to just kind of color them and see how they looked before, stitching them up with colored pencils was something I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And there's E and A. Oops. It's grabbing the tail. And so now I'm on row 7. Just going to pick up a B and an A. It just goes super, super fast. Here's D.
Yeah, moving right along.
Oops. Sorry about that. It's just like leaping out.
That's what they like to, those beads. They've got a mind of their own, my friend.
And then let's see, 2E. Almost there. Almost to where it starts to repeat. And the only reason I broke it up as far as having that first 8 rows and then from rows 29 through 34 being different, it's just because of this one bead color. I didn't want there to be an orphan start to this piece of lace. Because it would put this bead right here.
Right.
Would put it like right there, and then it just looks weird. So I ended it with not having that, so you get the nice spaces on each side.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I was kind of going for I like to make a pattern that repeats inch by inch, but I didn't quite get there. It was close, but
you put so much thought into these patterns, Danielle. It's just not so slapdash and off the cuff like some other people I know. Kate, I'm looking at you in the mirror. No, it's great. I love all the thought that goes behind all these.
The only downer though is it takes me longer to accomplish something.
Well, but the finished product is always very nicely polished. I love it.
Oh, thank you. That's an awesome compliment.
So nice. Carolyn's asking, she's got a question while you're doing that. Will I be shopping for ribbon doing our France getaway? Carolyn, I will be doing some shopping when we do our France retreat, but I have some French textiles and little bits of ribbon and stuff that I bought from the last retreat. So that's another drop that's coming. I'm forming an idea about using some textiles, not unlike the Frida Fiesta stitch in. So stay tuned for that. I found some cool stuff that I'll share with you.
Oh wow, that sounds so fun.
It is fun. Yeah, it's going to be a fun bead retreat, or it's a sewing retreat. Actually, we're going to do a little bit of beading, but our bead retreat's coming up, Danielle, in August.
Hey, in August. Where is that again? I know it's on the coast.
Yeah, so it's at the San Juan Bautista Retreat Center. And San Juan Bautista is just about an hour south of San Jose and about 30 minutes in from the coast, near Gilroy, where I grew up. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful spot. We're just putting the final touches on the retreat info, and then that will be out soon. So Danielle, while you're stitching, do you mind if I share the screen and tell everybody where to grab that pattern?
Yeah, go for it. I'll just keep going along.
Great. Let me do this. Hang on. Let me get everything all set here so that I don't share the wrong screen. I've been known to do that. Then everyone knows what I'm ordering from Amazon. So hang on. Share my screen and there's that. Let me go to the home page. Okay. let me go here. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, everybody, so you folks can see this. And if let me make sure it's up on the page. Yes. Okay. So you're here on our homepage, right? And it's here in projects. If you click projects like this, the first project that we're doing, it's always in order. So that Peyote Stitch Bracelet sits right there. But you can also find it. Let me go back. You can also find it. I have it right now in the projects bar right here. It's called Bespoke. And if you click on Bespoke, you can see there's all the beads and everything that are needed, the new button. You click on Handout, and that will bring you to the handout PDF that you can download. It's the one that Danielle did for us. And you can see as I scroll through, you go all the way down to the bottom. It's got some close-ups of how to finish that we're going to show in just a few. And then there's the pattern and word chart that Danielle is working off of. So thank you so much, Danielle, for doing that for us.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, there we go. Let me highlight this one. There we are.
See, it's pretty fast. It's going really.
Yeah, it's progressing. Really nice. And so then, Danielle, you were talking about the length. You have one that you're going to finish. Is there anything else about the pattern that we want to talk about?
No, the pattern it's really just, rinse and repeat. Like I got that for you guys.
Yep.
And you just keep going until you are happy with the length, or you feel like, it's going to be, so when you get to row 28, and you measure it, the end that it adds after that is going to add about, let me show you really quick. Let me get the flatter one.
Okay. And there's a quick question while you get that. Carolyn was asking, can you work the visual bead pattern from the bottom working to the top? So it's basically the same, right? It doesn't matter if you start from the bottom going up or the top going down.
Exactly. It's identical. The word chart won't flow for you starting from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, I believe, starting, well, I say that, but I could be wrong because your tail's going to come in from the same side. The only thing is the right and the left will change.
Mm-hmm.
Your tail,
but you can follow that chart from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And thinking out loud, I don't know for sure that it wouldn't track with the word chart. It might.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a good question. I should test that and see.
Oh, I think you're busy enough, my friend.
I know I get mathematically curious sometimes. It's right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the measuring for how much would row 29 through 34 add? And so that's going to put you at about, it's going to end with these 2D right here. It doesn't add much, but it's not quite a quarter of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like one tick mark away from that. So like right about there.
Right. So about 3/8 of an inch.
Yeah, there we go. I'm so bad at those numbers.
Wow. Same. I get it from quilting.
How many sixteenths is this number? I don't know. But so yeah, roughly, give or take a few. It's not exact. I was hoping it would be more exact, but you'll get a pretty general idea, and it doesn't vary too much because they're Delicas and because they're all like right next to each other to get it pretty steady. Now where I did end up with a lot of variation is in making the leather closure, which I have a lot of repeatability issues with doing stuff like that. But
right.
But yeah,
well, I really like. So let me ask you a question, if I may. Mm-hmm. I love how those two look next to each other. Would you flip the bottom one so that the flowers are in the center row? Yeah. And look at how great that would be, because I like a wide cuff.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be a stunner?
I wonder if you could put gemstone.
Oh, you could do something like that, like stitch it together with something, but you could just make it like, double your pattern or flip it, mirror it, right? So instead of making that slim ribbon one, you make, you double it so it's a wider cuff. I just
Oh,
love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, and you could always, just stitch them together, just one for one
Mhm.
too.
Yeah,
And it would be really pretty.
love.
It would even give you the opportunity to have, if you could leave a gap, you'd have a buttonhole.
Right, right, right. That's right. Very clever. Because
Mhm.
that really looks like a Fair Isle sweater kind of a motif to me when it's like that. Um, and I love knitting Fair Isle. That's really great.
Oh, I see it. Now I see tulips too. It's
Hmm.
pretty, the bottom of the tulip and then the top.
Yeah.
Now make it with purple, yellow, and pink, and you got Easter.
Yeah, love. Quick question that Janice has, and then I'll let you get back to sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
But
it's okay. This is super, super
uh,
chill.
Janice has a quick question about when you create your patterns, do you always see a white or a light canvas as the background cover, or as the background color? So the white on this, is that like the quote unquote background?
In this case, yeah, but sometimes I go with a darker color. It just depends on the mood of the piece. Or, for example, I like to make pieces that are landscapes. So there's a lot where they're like there's sky with stars in them. So I'll
Right.
go like a gray or a really dark blue, things like that.
Nice. Very nice. Love. I will also, before you get to measuring, I don't want to cover up your what you're doing there. So I'll say one more time, I have a viewer exclusive giveaway today only, my friends, for Valentine's Day. It is Friday, February 14th of 2025. If you place an order of any size and put earrings in the notes, I'll flash my little earring kit that I'll put in your order. We'll do it at the end of the broadcast so you can see it again. But that's just my little Valentine's gift from my studio to your studio. All right, Danielle, let's get this one closed up then.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Margaret says she sees the Dutch tulips. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
seeing that too. That's so cool. Yeah, and so once you feel like you've got a good length, well, actually, before you get to that spot, you'll probably run out of thread. And I noticed for me with about 65 inches, 2 repeats through the pattern, and I was starting to feel like I needed to add thread. And so it's really easy. You just want to leave your old working thread in place wherever you left off, and then weave in a new strand, create some new rows, and then weave that old thread up into those new rows. And so to weave in, here's one that I just left in place. Weaving in is actually the same as you're doing your stitching, just without adding beads. You just go through, and you want to make sure you follow that convention of 2 and 2 and 2. But you can make turns in the middle of it or at the edge. Like, for example, you can go and make a turn like that. And the more turns you make, the more solidly woven in your piece your thread will be. So like when I bring in the new strand, I will test it by pulling on it until the tail doesn't move. After doing a couple of journeys through like what I'm doing here. Maybe make one more turn. And then you could spin the beads to hide that turn. If your thread is still showing, and then you go. You can thread burn that, or you can flush cut trim it, or thread scissors, anything really works. But yeah, that's how to add thread. And then when you get to the end, you'll have what's left of your working thread on one side, and you'll have what was your tail on the starting side. And so let's see. Let's work this side first for how to do the little fold over tab.
Okay. And real quick, Renee has a question, Danielle. Your patterns, I mean, you are all over the internet, and I know that you do a lot of great content for a lot of wonderful bead businesses. Do you also have your patterns on your Etsy shop as well?
I used to, but now I just put them free on my website.
Okay. So
And I
people
don't
can find you. What's the best place to find you, Danielle? And I'll put it on a little banner right here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's DanielleWickesJewelry.com.
Okay. I'm going to make a little banner.
Thanks. Yeah, and so any of my patterns, feel free to use them. Sell your work. I don't mind. And I don't really go out there and like check if somebody didn't tag. I don't mind if people don't tag. It's totally fine.
Well,
I've had
you're
a
always so generous. And check the screen, Danielle. Is that correct?
looks right to me. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you. You are a force for good in this bead world. We are just so lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you. You guys are the original inspiration for me getting excited about all this stuff. So,
Oh, wow.
definitely.
Well, we go back a few years.
We do, yeah. And so this is a really easy technique that apologies if you've seen me do this before because I do this a lot. It's kind of my go-to thing, but I love doing these little fold over tabs. What it looks like is a little attachment for your whatever kind of stitch you're doing. This works on loom, single drop peyote, 3-drop, multi, anything. You can do this for basically any kind of stitch. You just create what's kind of like a single column at the center of whatever stitch you're doing. So if this was loom, you would do that as square stitch. If this is peyote 2-drop, you do a 2-drop single column. Sometimes if it's a single peyote, I'll do like, instead of doing a single column tab, I'll do, you know, 2 beads per row add. But in general, it just looks like this. You just get yourself to the center. So I'll go back through the adjacent stack that's right before. And my goal right now is to get to this bead right here, but I want to be heading that way. And so I illustrated this out in the handout because it's a little bit weird. But instead of from here, when we're through this bead, instead of going through this one, we want to go through the third one. And this is just so you can make a turn. So we'll get through the third and then turn and head back through the stack that's just, you know, one up from that. And spinning those just to make sure that those thread turns are hidden. And now I can make one more turn and go through that bead. So I guess you could just say it's like a peyote decrease.
Right. And now we've just, now you're ready to do that column.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so from here, just add 2 more beads and then go through the next up bead there. So there's 2. So you've got that little center thing. And now we're just going to treat that like a finished row. So pick up 2 beads and go back through those last 2 you just added. So that was 1. Here's 2. And I'm going to add anywhere from 10 to 12 will be a great length for folding over. So here's 3.
This is such a great way to finish. I have not, I don't know, maybe I haven't been paying attention, but I'll tell you, really great way to finish with the leather closure. I love it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's just so fun. It makes it nice and easy, and it's hidden. Because then it just looks like that leather's floating on the edge of your piece.
Mm-hmm. We've got a comment here that this is such a cozy pattern. I agree. It is such a cozy, I don't know. It's perfect for the day, I think.
I'm loving it. It's really bring you back that cross stitch feeling.
Yeah,
it's giving me this kind of urge to do some cross stitching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been doing some needlepoint. There's a British needlepoint designer who does like famous British authors. So I'm doing in kind of a graphic kind of a feel to it. So I'm doing a Jane Austen needlepoint. That's kind of fun. I think you can see it on my Insta at Bead Kate, but I love doing needlepoint and stitching like that. It's really nice.
I love that. One thing I was just wondering is like, have you ever taken a cross stitch pattern and loomed it?
You know, I was just thinking that same thing in my head because I was picturing her needlepoint pattern. It's a really great like Jane Austen face. And how fun that would be to reinterpret into seed beads.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could.
Because they're square. They're like, I love that. That would be so fun.
So many great ideas, so little time to accomplish them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hear that. For sure. And so here's 12. So the way I counted that is 6 on one side and 6 on the other, but this isn't a set in stone number. It's just kind of like whatever you feel looks good, and you can test it as you go. You can make it shorter if you want, but something roughly like that that you can fold over. And so now we're going to do a zipper stitch, kind of like you're making a beaded ring, like one of those peyote rings. Um, so here where we're about to add a next up bead, just have that next up bead be the set of 2 that works on the back side of the piece. So if you fold it over,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm feeling like right there is the set of 2 that kind of makes sense to join to.
Right.
So those are just now your new beads. And it just makes it fold over there. And now you'll want to go through the up beads on the folded over part. And just pull through there. So now that's pretty secured. I'm going to make a turn and go through these 2. And then I'll head up through this one.
Nice. And that little bit of extra stitching just cinches it down a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And just makes it so easy to reinforce, and just heading back through that one more time. 2 is probably plenty strong, I feel like. And then once you've got that, I like to do my weaving in. I'll start this as my weaving in process here, but I will weave in through this little fold over section.
Oh, through the whole thing. Right. That makes sense. Now, Danielle, let me ask you, you complete that first and then you tie around it, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I'll put the leather through actually at the very end.
Okay.
I didn't do the button first and then.
Gotcha.
Although you want to have your button handy to measure.
Right. But I would probably have made the other one and then tried to figure out the length. And this just makes so much sense because you've got something now in there to anchor it. That's so smart.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was born out of necessity because I was so in love with looming for so long that, but then you get to the end and you have to have the perfect width of a tube finishing.
Mm-hmm.
Love those little tubes, but they're so expensive and it's hard to find ones that meet every pattern.
Right.
And then I just love buttons and leather. I'm obsessed and I buy too many buttons.
Same.
So I'm like, how can I use my buttons with peyote? Because I am on a peyote kick right now. And that's where that one came from. But yeah, originally it was a way to finish a loom piece, and this was done via square.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm just going to trim it. I overweave in.
Yeah.
I always do that.
Yeah. I just like to make sure it's not going anywhere.
And there it is.
All right. So clever.
And so on that starting side, there's probably like a lot of ways to do this. I just kind of weave to the center and make a loop. Now I'm dreaming of buttons. This is something I wish existed. And if anyone does this, I will buy 4 million of them. But what about a button where the shank has a Delica built into it? And you just stitch it in like a bead.
Right, a stitch-in button.
I originally asked Alan at TierraCast about that.
Mm-hmm.
And, the button stitching was born from that idea with the 3,
mm-hmm.
like, kind of like an end bar. But now I still feel like, it just the measuring would be hard, the getting the bead the right size.
Right.
Oh, and sorry, I jumped ahead without seeing what I was doing. So, oops. I was coming out of that bead and I just went through this one. So kind of what we did before, we're just kind of heading into the work. And my goal is now to get to one of these edge beads. So with one of these down beads here, and it doesn't matter which one, but I think I went to the one that is closest to the edge. So to get to that one, I'll go through here. And so just going through that bead right there.
Ah, right. Because that's the single. Because you're going to make a that loop with just a single, not a double.
Yeah, and I figured that was, because you'll secure it on the other side by going opposite directions from the bead. Just grab a button. I have this in my stash. I know I got it from Bead Shop.
Yeah, I don't know if we still have those or not, but it's a great one. We've got so many great buttons, so you can choose whatever it is that you like. But yeah, that glass one is so good. While you're they both, I mean, anything would look great on there. Mary has a quick question. If you were going to double the width, like I asked about, would you center that button in the middle for the closure, or would you like do a double closure, two buttons and close it up?
I think that would depend totally on the size of the button. You have one of those big buttons to use? Like, I have some big check buttons and I never know what to do with those. That would be ideal.
Oh, that would be ideal for something that's wider. Yeah.
But if you're using a tiny button, like some of those really tiny buttons that are 13 millimeter or so, then maybe 2.
But I think you could center, like, even if you were using that size button, I think if you were centering the button in the middle, that would be enough closure.
I think so. Yeah.
Those would be centered. Yeah.
That would be cute. And then, I mean, I would go out some extra length and then skip doing all that and just stitch them together, but leave a gap. And then you can picture it buttoned like that. Yeah.
Right. Do a buttonhole. Yeah. Very smart.
Then it would go all the way around. And it would continuous.
Really pretty.
I'm in love with that. I wish I did that now.
Yeah. Well, I like all of these ideas. That's what I love about Free Tip Friday. We just come up with we like to troubleshoot. And look how you flipped it now. So the flowers are on the outside, and look at the pattern on the inside of the bracelet now. That's really fun.
Oh, how cool. I love this idea of putting the button there like that.
Yeah.
That's so cute. We need to do this.
Yes, we do. Let's revisit. Wider cup with a button in. I love it.
Exactly. We could even do a size 8 if that would speed it up a little bit, or
that would be fun. Yeah. A bigger one. Or maybe do it with 10s this time.
Yeah, that would be cool. That's so fun. Oh man, I need like an extra 5 hours every day.
Same.
And so there's 3, and so going back to the old way, which I now wish I was doing a different way.
Wow, I love this closure with the leather. I think it looks terrific.
Thanks. And it's fun too. And so I put 3 button in 3. Sometimes your button is big enough that you could just go through all the beads, but like for example, this one's gonna fit. But the this one is you'll definitely want to string 3 button in 3.
Right, gotcha.
Which I actually prefer because it keeps it centered. It doesn't
flop around.
And so what I did here is I just skipped the next 3 beads. So 1, 2, 3, and joined that 3rd one. So it's going to head through like that. And everything's going to be super loose for a little while. I have to go back through it. So from here, go back through all those beads, and what you'll get is it will hug that bead in like a little loop forms. So it puts those beads heading that way.
Right. Nice. And then you go back underneath that button shank.
Yeah, and to capture those other 3 beads.
Yeah, don't miss the button shank.
And when you get back here to the other side, just take note of the side that your thread was exiting when you headed up through the beads, and go through the opposite side to close up that connection. And I'm going to try to just get through the bead there.
Right.
And there it is. So reinforce that a couple of times.
And we're going through those stacks of 3 again, like you were doing.
Yeah, and if you want to go through just a single bead, you can, or at this point, you can go through that. And that's actually a lot easier to get through. Just go through the next two. Now that the beads are joined above that single bead, you can just get away with doing that.
Right.
And I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Head through as many as I can get through. Oh, wow. Look at that. I got through all those. Crazy. All right. And so now just weave in. Super easy. And you've got your button on there.
And you're just weaving back and forth like you'd finish off any woven piece.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Just going as this is also an opportunity to reinforce anything that you see is loose. So like if any of this little edge here has gaps or you're feeling like it needs a little extra strength, you can just go through it.
Mm-hmm. And it's nice to have that extra reinforcement at the end of the bracelet.
So that's definitely something I was doing on both of the samples. And this button's a little heavier than our glass button.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm giving it a little extra. I'll just trim it over here on the side. There we go. And so it puts your button pretty much right at the center, no matter what size button you've got.
Right. Oh, it's fantastic.
And if you feel like it's not super beautiful, like I think it looks cute, but it's not like, it's not going to show.
Mm-hmm.
That side's going to be on your wrist. And then the leather is going to be coming around that. And so the next part, I'm going to need your help, Kate.
Okay.
Because I can never remember how to do a snake knot. So
oh my gosh. All right. Let me get some leather too. I can't ever remember either. Hang on.
whenever we do this, I try 4 times and then I get it.
You're right. Same. I'm like, how do I do this? Ruth had a quick question while you were finishing that. So the difference between Miyuki Delica 8/0 versus round Miyuki 8/0, the Delicas in any style or size is like a tube. And then the Rocal or round Miyukis are like the rounded bead, right? So you could do these in the Rocals as well. It would just have a little bit of a different look to it, right, Danielle?
Yeah, and it would get done sooner because those beads are going to work up a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It would get wider and it would grow in length faster.
But I'm saying instead of the size 8s, you could do it in the regular seed bead and as well as the Delica.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It doesn't, but you would use the same type throughout. You wouldn't mix the types of beads.
Oh yeah, I know mixing them unless you're like doing freeform, which I actually kind of struggle to do freeform. Because mine, I see the thread too much and then I get all stressed out by it.
Right.
But yeah, same size bead though, but you can use this pattern with any beads just as long as they're like the same size together.
Right.
And you can pick 5 colors in size 8 and it would stitch up really pretty. I love doing peyote stitch with size 8 seed beads.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and so I've got some 1mm leather here. And this was the Pacific Blue.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you could go with any leather you want. I just really liked this one with that palette.
Yeah, it looks really pretty.
And when I started this one, I did cut a whole 18 inches, which is a lot of leather for what we're doing here, but it gave me the maneuverability to do the knots comfortably. Mm-hmm. That might have been too much leather. I had a little bit left that I trimmed off, but you could also do an overhand knot. You could do a barrel knot that adjusts.
Yeah, barrel knot. You don't have to do the snake knot. I'm trying to do the snake knot along with you here.
I'm going to try. And if I fail, we'll switch to barrel knot. And then if I fail at that, we'll do an overhand knot.
Okay, perfect. And we have the instructions on the snake knot. It's under Kate's knots, under projects, and the tutorial is there. So I should link that actually to your, I'll link it. I'm going to write myself a note, link that project to your project.
Yeah, there was one where you're like, the entire bracelet is a snake knot.
Yeah.
And that's the one I watch to remember how to do it. Like every time.
Yeah, same. I have to rewatch my videos. 100%.
And so you bring these two together, right? And then you bring this one under both.
Yeah, and then you have, let's see, and so that's tightened like that.
Up and over that way.
So what I do is, hang on, I get this loop. I go from behind. Hold, please.
Okay.
Alice, the code does go in the comments. That is correct. Bear with me here just a second. I'm going to look it up. I do. That's why, and that's originally why I put them on the website, was so that I could find them when I needed them. Comments or order notes? Oh, order notes. Sorry. Miranda's caught that. She goes, put them in the order notes. Yes, in the order notes in your order. Correct. Or else we won't see it. Let's see. Where is decorative pendant?
Oh, Janice put a link for not pendium.
Oh, the not pendium. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you. That's where it is. The not pendium. And here is, oh, I love all these knots.
You could do any knot you want here and it looks so pretty.
Yeah, you could. You could. Hang on one second while I just pause this, and I'm going to just look real quick. I just need to make sure I know how to start it. Okay, I talk a lot. There we go. Okay, let me look at that picture. Okay, so I go like this, and then I go like this. Hang on, everybody. I'm remembering. It's coming back. It's coming back to me. Okay, then I go around the front, I go over and under, and then I tighten. Okay, hang on. Okay. Let me tie one, Danielle. Make sure I know what I'm doing.
And I'm going to learn from you again.
Oh, I don't know.
Video when I was doing this one.
Well, I could have prepped. I would have prepped for you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No.
I meant to mention it. I forgot. I thought I would remember, but then I was sitting here thinking, is it under first or over?
No, I'll tell you. I do the same thing when I am prepping for a show. I'm like, how did I do that? Let me just watch this real quick one more time. Because something is wrong. Something's wrong. Why don't you talk about a couple of other things and I will get this correct.
Oh, I think I got it.
Oh, you did? I'm watching something else. I'm not watching you. Yes, that's correct.
I don't know what I did. Oh my gosh. You guys, it's so funny. I figured some comedy would be good, but
right.
Okay, so
yes.
I went over and then under everything.
That's right. Over.
Wait.
Under.
With this one. Over and then under. And then this one goes over and under everything through the other side.
Correct.
And then you got it when you've got that Celtic looking knot.
That's right. That's how you know you did it.
Whoop. But then it'll try flipping on me like it's doing right now. I did something wrong.
Well, see, everybody, even the greats have to check themselves sometimes.
Is I get it? No. I know there's somebody in the audience that is seeing what I'm doing right now and they're like screaming, but I can't hear them.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
Like, go the other way. Go the other way.
Loop. I go through. I go around the back. I go in the front. I go around the back, and then I weave it. I can't quite get my weaving right. Oh. Sorry, everybody. I should have this committed to memory to just, the one knot that I have committed to memory that I can do at the drop of a hat is the Chinese button knot.
Oh, I like that knot. That one is cute.
That is that one is my jam, and I've known it forever. So this like this, and then we weave. Everybody, I will just link that video. I'm failing spectacularly for you.
You know what I could do is show a barrel knot too.
Yeah, why don't you? That's perfect,
Yeah,
Danielle. Why don't you go to the barrel knot?
Oh my goodness. I totally practiced before too, and then I started panicking because I realized I didn't remember.
Same. I think about that in my head, right? And I go, oh, in the middle when I'm doing the demo earlier, and in my head I'm jumping across going, oh, now I'm gonna have to demo that. Do I remember how to do it? All the while, keep moving forward.
And so I just put I measured out, this was 18 inches. And what I've done here is to make it adjustable. I just kind of gone with, because this is one I know really good here. 4 to, let's see, 4.5-ish to 5. I think that's probably going to be good. And then with the really long side, I'm going to start by going around one time and holding everything. And it's kind of, I didn't go really tight. It's kind of loose. And I'm going to wind toward the beadwork up one more time and just hold that loop in my hand, go up one more time. And you can use like a straw too, like if you prefer. But I'm just going to try to do it without.
The barrel knot is such a handy, it's such a handy knot to have in your knotting grouping.
I like it because you can tighten it and get it to be exactly the right length from your connection there. So that's one way to do it. So barrel knot, snake knot, any kind of knot, overhand knot.
And I'll link, it's all in the knot pendium. I've been trying to kind of fast forward through mine. So I just put that in there. Go to the knot pendium. You will see all of my knots. After this show is over though, I'm going to watch my video.
I'm going to watch it too.
And make sure I know what I'm doing.
I'm going to do that.
And then next week we'll do it again. Yes, Miranda's over here just laughing hysterically.
Well, it just took me like 20 minutes to tie these. So
that's right, to tie those little beads off. Knots are my favorite, though. I love knots. Love them, love them. Oh, that looks great.
What do you think? Is that good?
Yeah, that looks perfect. That barrel knot is actually even cleaner than the snake knot. Love.
I like the end of it better. So, and then I can tighten it if I need to. But with the snake knot, I struggle with finishing this part.
Right.
So I'm not totally in love with this right here.
Right. I can see, that kind of little, it's a little wide, right? So you could do the snake knot at the connection by the bracelet and then finish it because the barrel knot is slimmer, right? Is more compact. So it gives kind of a nice smaller closure at the end.
Yeah, I think I wish I had done that now. I wish I'd done the barrel here because that would look very, very cool. It brings it all together and it just looks so tailored. Cool.
Yeah, because the snake knot pushes those ends of those threads apart rather than brings them together.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. But it all works. It all works for sure.
And I can make this adjustable too. I just kind of make one more. There we go. I'm just kind of making that loop so I can get through it when I'm finished. There's one. Do you go around 3 times with yours?
It just depends on the length I want it. Sometimes I go like really long. Sometimes I just go around twice. It just depends. I think, on the look that I'm going for. I use this knot a lot when I'm knotting in between things, right? When I kind of want some spacers.
Oh, I recently discovered a tool. It's not new, but it's new to me. I saw a video and I ordered it. It's a rosary knotting tool that has like a cut. It looks like a chopstick, but it has a carved like crevasse into it, I guess. Like
Oh, yeah. I've seen those. It's like the plier you're talking about, right?
yeah, actually, well, it's one piece,
Oh,
and the end of it, it looks like you took a straw and just cut it in half this way,
uh-huh.
and you go around and then you bring it through, and it ties these barrel knots over and over again in between.
Oh, it's a barrel knot tie. I have seen that. Sorry, I thought you were. I was thinking something else in my head. I think I have seen that.
It's kind of a neat tool. I consistently can like use it now. Took me a minute to get it, but it was
Yeah.
kind of fun. Yeah.
No, that looks great, and I love how you did make it adjustable, in case it needs to be larger or smaller. You've got 2 loops on there.
I actually like this better.
It
Yeah,
looks
it's
nice.
a lot cuter.
Now, Janice is asking, could you skip the first knot by the beaded loop? But I don't think you could. I think you need a knot by that loop to hold it in place.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I'm not sure. Maybe. You maybe could.
I
mean-
feel though that knot kind of keeps it where it's supposed to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, you could definitely experiment with it.
I feel like I've always done it that way, but I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's good to maybe I'll just try it and see.
Mm-hmm. See how it looks. But that looks fantastic. That looks great. Well, thank you so much. Look at those. They look wonderful. This is a great time to do a screenshot, everybody. Screenshot time. Love. And let me put this up, this banner back up. This is my viewer exclusive giveaway for you. I will add my little screen back up here as well. Let me move this around. I have this earring kit for you. Will it move? Come on, scoot over.
Earring kit.
Come on, there it is. There we go. Switched it. This is an earring kit out of my earring stash, or my Swarovski crystal stash for you. Make an order of any size and put earrings in the notes, and I will add the crystal earring kit to your order. And that goes today only. It's my Valentine from our studio here to your studio out there. And stay tuned this weekend to our newsletters, because I've got a couple more things in there that you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be a fun weekend of inspiration for you through the newsletters. And I also wanted to share with you Danielle's really great website. You can go on there and find all of your patterns and things, Danielle, as well. So yeah, so much fun. Let's see who we've got. We have got any more comments? We've got anything? I think this is good. And yes, Carolyn, you can find this pattern right over on our website. If you go to Bespoke, it's right on the front page. It's Danielle's project. We'll also link it down below in the comments after the show, so you can grab it there. The beads are an 11-aught Delica, but again, all of that listing is in Danielle's project page on Bespoke on Bead Shop. After this broadcast, we'll go ahead and link everything in the description of the video as well, so you can find it.
So cool.
All right. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're coming back to us in March.
Yep.
We're going to have some fun times there. We really, really appreciate, not only what you do here for us at Bead Shop, but what you do in the bead community as a whole. You are a force for good, my friend. So we really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Janice, thanks for doing the moderating today. It's going to be fun. My mom is saying, She's going to be putting those earring kits together. How did you know, Ma? How did you know that that's going to be correct?
That's awesome.
That's right. But we will see you soon. And also don't forget, I'll put this up one more time here. Let me take that down and put this one up. We can put my banner up one more time. Remember that the Delicas are on sale today only. There's a 15% markdown on beadshop.com. If you add your coupon code LOVE10 to that order, and you'll see that on the homepage, it'll knock them down even further. So today is the day to stock up on Delicas because we heart them just in time for Valentine's Day. Well, thank you again, Danielle. We really appreciate you, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for having me today, and happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, my friend. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you next week with Emily. Emily will be here on Wednesday. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.